Welcome to the Digital Glue Podcast. These digital untangling episodes are brought to you by Crystal Kordalchuk, CEO and founder of Virtually Untangled. This podcast is for entrepreneurs who need untangling from the day-to-day tasks in their business. These virtual world untanglers never underestimate the power of a good idea. And if that sounds like a lofty goal, well, it is. A decade ago, Virtually Untangled was founded with the goal of creating meaningful digital experiences that connect with people. Crystal and her team of honorary untanglers are now providing business owners just like you the opportunity to own your story and share it with the world. So, every Tuesday morning, she'll be dropping a new episode that will help you think big and dream even bigger. Let's dive into today's episode.
Leadership is the ability to inspire people to reach a common destination. It is the wisdom to see the challenges and obstacles that are placed in the way and know that you can get around them. You may not know how or even when, but you honestly believe deep down in your heart of hearts that you know you can get there. I feel a great leader will pull you up and help you accomplish things that you didn't know you could do. A boss, for instance, will sometimes push you to some places that you didn't want to go in the first place, but in such a way that it was somewhere you actually needed to be in order to grow. It is also someone who, by word and deed, always does the right thing. What does that mean by word and deed? Always, even when no one is looking. So why is this person a leader? Because sometimes it's hard to find a person who always says and does the right thing. When we find that person, they can in a sort of way become our spiritual moral leader. These are the kind of people that my team and I aspire to be like. They're rare because most people just want to do the same thing because it's safe. However, I feel we need more people like you in this big bad world. Ones that are not happy with being comfortable and safe. We need young people, middle-aged people, senior citizens to all stand up and say, hey, I think we should go to the mountaintop, and I know a great way to get there. It may be hard. It may take longer than the other way. We may even stub our toes every now and then, or trip and fall and scrape our knees. And it's surely not going to be the same way that all the other people are going, but we will be much better people by the time we get there. I think being a leader means that you're going to have to do things that most people do not want to do. You're going to have to stand up and say things that most people are afraid to say. And you are going to have to believe things that most people do not want to believe. And for the long term, you're going to have to find the courage to stick to what you believe in and follow it through to completion. You are going to have to put yourself in front of your friends and your foes and your competitors and tell them, I believe this is what we should be doing and this is where we should be going. They might ridicule you and put you down. They might tell you that what you want to do cannot be done, but they're wrong. They might even tell you that other people have tried it before and failed. But you must have faith in yourself and your ideas and know that you're the right person to see it through. Sometimes you may be the only one that does. Leadership is scary that way sometimes. That being said, we've been noticing a lot lately that many entrepreneurs are pushing through their days without celebrating their wins. Like none of them. We've been doing it and feeling it too. This is a cardinal rule in the land of entrepreneurship and a huge no-no. You need to make sure to carve out time for giving yourself a well-deserved pat on the back. This little bit of time is just as important as all the things you do to run your business. Otherwise, why are you doing it? Team VU has been experiencing this a lot over the last 6 weeks. We've been pushing insanely hard through year end and then the start of a new year, which brings everyone out of the woodwork to get their businesses back on track. However, we finally took a moment mid-January to be like, hey, wait a second, look at all we got done. And sometimes those wins can even be, I'm having such a productive week getting ahead on some work and projects without only putting out little fires everywhere. Celebrating your wins is more than just an acknowledgement of your greatness. It's about showing your team and yourself that you see what's being done and the growth that's happening because of it all. And that's also leadership. If you're on your own, we certainly hope you have a biz bestie somewhere that you can be sharing these wins. And if not, you know where to find us. Leadership is so much more than being able to communicate well. It's about being approachable and sharing knowledge and not letting your ego get in the way when someone else discovers a more efficient way of doing something. As we hear Team VU transition into some new ways of doing things this year, the near-term end of this podcast, for example, we're continuously reminding ourselves that as individuals, we can accomplish great things. But as a collective, we can take on this big bad virtual world. We're each thought leaders in our own areas and leverage each other to take on all the things. We couldn't recommend more to diversify your team so that you can expand your offerings. What you may not realize is that our audience's brains crave certain chemical reactions to confirm what we're reading, hearing, and seeing for expert brands, voices, and stories. To keep them coming back for more, you need to strengthen your message, which will lead to more conversations, elevated interest, growth in your influence, and ultimately an increase in sales. So if you're ready to deliver the goods, then keep listening. Great leaders genuinely want to change the world. They do things that set themselves apart from the crowd, in addition to being an expert in their field or niche. And all the while changing the world, they are huge lovers of sharing through blogs, podcasts, articles, posts, speaking opportunities, and well, basically any platform that will allow them to spread their message. Does this sound like you? Great! Keep the momentum going and keep spreading the word while changing the world. Not you, but want it to be? Here's a few pointers to help you focus on while beginning the thought leader journey. Tip number 1, never stop making connections, especially right now in an all near virtual world. Virtual coffee is key. Tip number 2, create a win-win network. Connect your people with other people. Pay it forward. Tip number 3, don't be shy. Occupy the authority space that surrounds you. Don't just explain your thoughts and ideas, implant them. Tip number 4, just keep swimming. Think of Dory in Finding Nemo. One can only become an expert in their field or niche if they are a lifelong learner. And remember, what you learn doesn't always have to be what you do. Tip number 5, keep your ego on the back burner. Not only share the limelight, but let others shine. As cliche as it sounds, teamwork really does make the dream work. Okay, so now that you have some ideas rolling around on your hamster wheel, here's some top 10 thought leadership brain-inducing words per category to ethically provide a neuroscience-based approach for gaining the right audience with messaging you can back with proven results, starting with dopamine-inducing. Success, value, acceptance, elite, deserve, inner circle, spotlight, desire, ideal, perfect. And next, serotonin-inducing. Dream, imagine, possibility, creativity, vision, inspire, spark, accelerate, hope, idea, and lastly, endorphin-inducing. Adventure, change, unconventional, rebel, rebellion, manifesto, brazen, passion, powerful, secret, out of the box. If you're a thought leader, your message and the way you present it truly can change the world. To put an additional twist on this topic, here are some of the behaviors I believe have caused someone to call me a thought leader. Having a voice. This is the most important step. Too many people in this world talk about talking, and few, very few, actually stand up and voice their opinion on a topic. Most people would rather keep their heads down and blend in. Life is safe when you just keep ducking and keeping your mouth shut. However, if you want to be recognized for your opinion or your accomplishments, you cannot be shy with your voice. When you become a blogger, a speaker, a teacher, or a television personality, you are going to have to get past your shyness and get on a platform. Being divergent. If you ever hear something in a conversation that sounds stupid, or read something on the internet and think, well, that just sounds stupid, then say so, even if it comes from me. Be tactful about it, but jump on it if it just does not seem right and share your opinion about it. There will be at least one person who agrees with you, but they don't have the courage to say it. So when you do voice your divergent opinion, you are likely speaking for several people. Don't be afraid to call out the experts. This is kind of like being divergent, but with the addition of addressing specific people that you do not agree with. When several popular experts tend to have the same opinion about a topic, it is time for someone to look at the other side. And if you don't agree with what an expert says, feel free to call them out on their opinion via video, blogging, or social media, or even in person if you get the chance. We tend to believe anybody that stands on stage and speaks. However, I truly believe that is a dangerous trend in the world of speakers and experts. They tend to repeat each other. Let's use social media as an example. All you have to do is go to a couple of virtual conferences and you'll likely hear everything you've heard at a future conference or even one you've previously attended. Experts, of which I like to think I am one, tend to parrot one another. We go to a conference, hear someone say something that appears insightful, and then repeat it to our tribe. It's like a game of childhood telephone. And in my opinion, this can be dangerous if the original source of the information didn't have their facts straight. To spin the proverbial wheel the other way, thought leadership is a big buzzword in the business world right now. And it's easy to see why it's become such an important focus for leaders. When others look at you for your expertise and insight, you can become a leading, recognized voice in your industry. But it's more than just a popular buzzword. But what does it take to become a thought leader? And what actionable steps can you take toward that goal? Here's a few examples. Create valuable content to share your thoughts. Be consistent with a steady flow of content creation. Establish credibility by bringing people behind the curtain. Solve pain points nobody else is solving. Answer questions nobody else is answering. Develop and share a clear, authoritative point of view. Use simple and casual language to stand out, and create a specific message and stick to it. And most importantly, don't be afraid to put yourself out there. If you look at any one person in any niche, the thought leaders aren't necessarily smarter than your average expert. The differentiator is that they know the right people and have access to the right platforms in order to share their message and knowledge. To end off today's special Untangling episode, and our second last one before we take a mini break to accomplish some other goals, I want to leave you with some important, long-lasting tips that no aspiring thought leader should ever forget. Number 1, remember that gaining notoriety as a thought leader takes focused effort over time. So by the time you're utterly sick and tired of your message, your posts, and your content, people are just waking up to it. Number 2, you must continue to innovate and learn and grow in order to remain a thought leader. In reality, you will never stop being a student. And lastly, number 3, share the spotlight with others who have helped you become a thought leader. Then in return, a lot of that light will reflect back on yourself. So be generous with your praise and recognition of others. Thought leadership isn't just some buzzword. It's most certainly not a superficial influence, and it's not for everyone. But odds are, if you have the temperament, it will help your business's reputation. So if you can follow through with all the information I laid out for you today, you can increase your brand awareness, your reputation and trust factors, and your growth.
And that's a wrap. Virtually Untangled is a full-service business, which means they've got you covered on design and content right through to digital and organization. You'll form a long-lasting relationship with them, as collaboration is central to everything they do. Now it's time to seize the moment and become inbox friends. It's easy to do. Just hop on over to virtuallyuntangled.com or their Facebook page to opt in and receive instant access to the most inspirational ride of your life. So, what are you waiting for? Become inbox friends with VU. Until the next episode, keep untangling.